Test, test. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, cool, cool, cool.
The other question is, are we live already?
Uh, Stream has just started.
We are live because I can hear myself, and that's unfortunate. There we go.
There we go. All right, we are live. Hello, hello, everyone. This
So
is
yeah,
Grash
that was
again
a
with
little bit
Feral.
too soon to start this. I am not ready yet. So
I will keep them occupied while you get ready.
well, you want to do the intro? Should I?
I'll do the intro. So,
I think that's the
hi
worst
everyone.
intro we've
Welcome
ever had on that
to
channel.
Racing Statistics. This is free practice 2 for the Mexico Grand Prix in Mexico City. You are listening to Grash right now. I'm basically talking to you guys. We're about
Damn,
14 minutes
you are
before.
gone again.
Am I gone again?
I
That's
can't hear Grash. That is unfortunate because nobody wants to hear my rumbling.
Can you guys hear me now?
So, yeah,
So
interesting. So, why
they can hear
can't
me.
I hear Grash?
So,
Hey,
all right. And I'm on
all
the
right.
stream.
So, I can hear Grash now.
Okay. Can you hear me
Can
now?
Grash hear me?
I can hear you, Farrell, perfectly fine.
Perfect. So, now that we also hear each other, it is way easier to cast together. So, yeah. It's kind of. I honestly have no idea what I should say now because that's a very weird intro, so let's just pretend that never happened.
Happened, and we'll just start from the beginning. So again, hello everyone. Welcome to the Mexican Grand Prix, free practice 2. We are about to start in about 12 minutes, 13 minutes or so, when the green lights go on. This is Grash talking to you again. Yeah, I did FP1 alone, and now this time I've got Farrell with you, and I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna need him. So the big thing for those that need to know is that this practice is extended to 30 minutes. It's the same issue, same thing that's going on in Austin with FP2. It's another Pirelli tire test. So it's gonna be a little bit weird. What's basically what we know, based on what happened in Austin, is that each of the teams each driver is going to be given one of two different compounds, and these are going to be compounds they're going to test for obviously for next year. They are Pirelli has given each of the team a basically a program to run on those tires, and that's pretty much all we're going to know about those. Though the exception to this are the five drivers who did not take place in FP1. Notably, that's going to be like Ocon, it's going to be Russell. They will have 45 minutes on the regular tires. So you're going to see these guys up on top of the board, and we're not going to know. And that's all we're going to see on the top of the board, unless the tires are considerably faster than the ones we saw in Austin. So that's what to expect. Um, Having said that, well, welcome, Farrell. Hey, man, how are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I am buried at work, and I'm fairly glad that I am here at the moment because I didn't get around to watch Free Practice 1. I didn't really get around to dive into news or whatever. So, since it is practice, and practice tends to just be a Formula One podcast, as nothing is happening on track, I can just ask you, all the questions that have been arising this week to me that I just haven't gotten the time to get to the bottom of. Like, for example, with the tire test, will the teams know what kind of compound tire they have, or are they just given like this is a black piece of rubber? You stick that on your car.
They don't
Here's
know.
a letter what you need to do with
Uh,
it.
but whatever so they are not. So if they're it's the same as Austin, the tires were not marked so that they won't see like a red tire or they will be it's basically an unmarked tire essentially. The teams don't know what type of tire they have been given. Basically, is what's going on. They
Okay,
just
so it
don't know.
could
It's basically they're told, like, I know one of the programs that Pirelli told each of the teams to do, was to do 3 hot laps altogether, like 3 do not like a hot lap and then no, just 3 hot laps back to back to back. Um, so
okay.
that's kinda what, and so that's what they're expecting. The teams don't know
Also,
which compound.
basically, yeah. So it could at least give a little, like a little bit of spice there, just because nobody really knows what they're getting. But it's probably gonna be quite, yeah, nothing, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, like, the teams don't know which compound they've been given. Only Pirelli knows that.
So yeah,
And that's
what
basically
I like,
to.
there's so many things that happened this week that I don't even really know where to start asking.
I mean, the big thing that's
I
happened
mean,
this
what
week.
about the yeah, you go. I think you
Okay,
will.
was the Red Bull cost cap.
Yeah.
I don't know
So
about
yeah, they have
tires.
been fined $7 million, if I'm right.
Yeah, so a question for chat about blankets. If they, I think, if we're gonna follow from what happened in Austin, the tire blankets are still being used, but the temperatures of how high the blankets can be, are going to be are being lowered, and the test is going to see how they are performing with the lower temperatures. Yeah, they're not going to be.
Yes, my thing
They're
exactly.
so they're lowering the temperature of the blankets, in an effort to eventually phase them out. So with Red Bull,
All right,
basically
so
what?
basically,
Okay, go ahead.
basically with the tire blankets, just to get into that. It is currently at 70 degrees centigrade they can have. I think it was 90 degrees last season, 70 now. So will we see the test tires just preheated to like 50 degrees, or
I would assume it'd be like the 50 degrees.
what are we gonna see there?
I think we're gonna see the lower temperature on the blankets.
Mm-hmm.
That's if what we saw in Austin is being applied to this week. I just don't know that I don't have a confirmation on that's what's going on at the moment. See if there's anything.
Yeah.
Ooh, Ooh, I'm losing you, Farrell. And I may be having an issue with Farrell at the moment. My apologies, everyone. And while we try and get Farrell back, um, so the what's going on right now is basically, with the blankets, is that, one of the things they're trying to do is get rid of the use of the blankets, um, because the blankets themselves are extremely expensive. And so that's the reasoning behind it. The teams don't like it because if you don't use the blankets, then the tires are cold coming right out of the gate, and will take longer to get up to their correct temperature for their use. So it makes coming out of the pits, like they were talking about coming out of the pits being like on snow or ice, which is not what you want with these tires. For them to properly operate, they have to be at a certain temperature.
This is a weird issue I've never had before.
And you are back.
Yeah, wait, let me
And let's see how it's.
oh nice. Now I do indeed hear you again as
Oh,
well.
good, good. Welcome back, Feral. So I was telling about the blankets, why the rationale for why they were being phased out, and what the blankets are doing for teams.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I don't exactly know what, where, or how you said things already, but basically it is just about Formula One as an organization trying to go net zero, basically. So with that net zero thing, and carbon emissions, they just need to, well, save energy wherever they can, and heating stuff is very energy intensive and very wasteful, isn't it? Am I?
Yeah,
Am I
yeah.
still
I mean,
heard?
that's
All right.
you're that is part of the reason for it. Again, the other thing is those blankets are expensive.
Yeah.
So there's a cost saving measure by doing that. But again, the downside is unfortunately by doing that is that it's hard to get those tires up to temperature fast. I mean, the reason they are using them is to get the temperatures up to get to a temperature that they can use to get it into a working state faster.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's basically the thing why we are seeing so many tire tests is the thing basically that the tire blankets need to go, and with needing to go, um Pirelli needs to provide a tire that can basically be grippy enough when very, very cold, but yet not completely fall apart when it's getting hot.
So if you guys go look on to the F1 Haas team, they've got a picture of Steiner with a really big sombrero on. It is completely hilarious. Starting FP1 is just starting in about 2 minutes now. You had other questions about the news this week, Farrell.
Yeah, probably, but I'm just being trolled by my microphones hard. Give me a second. I'm sorry to all the possible headphone users out there. All right, so well, guess I'm gonna use my cheap mic then. Um, there you go. Yeah. Other questions about the news this week. Well, basically, I've just seen a shitload of memes about the whole cost cap thing.
Yeah. So we know that
So
after Suzuka, we knew that the announcement that Red Bull had overspend on the cost cap, and so the agreement had been reached like either yesterday or early. It was announced today before FP1 that agreement had been reached on the cost cap issue with Red Bull. Basically, the FI accepts that. Um, the FI accepts the fact that Red Bull didn't intentionally try to overspend. So it's not they were trying. It's not so basically Red Bull wasn't trying to cheat. Um, and a lot of this basically is in the fact that there was a lot of procedural things that had changed as one of the things that
yeah,
had gone on. So there was no ill intent by Red Bull to try to cheat. It's one of the first things that comes out of the agreement. The penalties, there's two significant penalties. The first one is $7 million, and that is just a payment directly to the FIA. It doesn't deal with the cost cap. It's not going to be applied to the cost cap next year. The other
okay,
one
yeah,
the other penalty that's going on is a 10% reduction in development time, and that includes wind tunnel time. And so that's the real teeth in what
Yeah, that's
take a bite out of Red Bull.
yeah, that's gonna hurt. That's really, really gonna hurt. I mean, wind tunnel time is quite essential, especially with the cars just completely changing their aerodynamic workings, basically. And now we're just basically there having, or Red Bull is basically there having to try to deal with things without really having the time other teams have. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm running into some slight issues here. I'm still here, still working on it. But yeah, that's what happened if you don't ready up before the stream, I guess.
So there are 5 drivers that we're going to keep an eye on. They were not in FP1 because rookies were in, and it's Kevin Magnussen, Ocon, George Russell, Alex Albon, and Yuki Tsunoda. They can run their normal the normal the 2220 tires, so the current tires they're using for a good chunk of time. So it's very possible that we will see them up on top of the leaderboard for that reason. That's kind of what happened in Austin. So the people who were running those tires were at the top of the leaderboard. And then we'll see how the test tires are going to do. We've got Verstappen, Zhou, Russell, Bottas, Ricardo, and Norris out on the track, it looks like. This timing chart shows them in hards and mediums and softs. I'm a little suspect because except for like Russell and Ocon, a little suspect of those tire types. So again, with the test tire in, it'll be interesting of what data we're getting on the board and whatnot. So again, we're doing more tire testing, so please bear with us as data looks weird and not what you would expect. And teams do things weirdly as well.
Yeah, so how it looks, they are now out on the test tires and will accordingly, I assume about after about 45 minutes they will get to the real free practice session stuff. Or is it the other way around and I'm just not quite up to
I see
speed yet?
Verstappen. I think it's either Verstappen or I see a Red Bull on red tires, and I don't know why they would be on those tires. Yeah, this is a little weird. So we'll try and sort this out as we figure out more information.
Yeah, data basically tells me that Verstappen, Joe, Ricciardo, Norris, Gasly, Perez, Latifi, Hamilton, Sainz basically are out on the test tires, but not Russell and Ocon. They are data shows me them on a medium tire.
And that would make sense because Zhou and Ocon Russell and Ocon were not in FP1, so that would make sense. Everyone else, so I'm looking at the live leaderboard from F1.com, and that showing better data at the moment.
Is this the same for you?
And I lost Feral there for a moment. Again, the issue here is that, let me see. Magnussen, Ocon, Russell, Albon, and Yusoda, all basically they all did not take an FP1, and because they weren't in FP1, here in FP2 they're allowed to use those tires. And welcome back, Feral. How are you doing?
I was actually chatting with the engineers earlier.
I don't know. I'm being trolled here. I don't know if I am being heard.
But when you think about how much these drivers change,
And we're getting stream in your background.
Copy that. We are checking for go race.
So yeah, I will just not have the information screen open and running, and instead just have a permanent feed of what the hell my audio drivers are doing.
Yeah, so that's just a message from Nicholas the TV there. And sometimes when you're running those more conservative engine maps, it can have an effect on the way the gearbox works. It's tuned a certain way.
Yeah, Feral, you're broadcasting through
Race weekend.
I'm broadcasting. Ooh, that's not good.
yeah. It looks like the stream you're broadcasting. So my apologies, everyone. So again, getting back to this. So we've got a good number of people on track right now. Several of them are on the doing tire testing. That's for that reason this session has been extended 30 minutes. So what happened in Suzuka is basically that they had planned to do this tire test then, but it rained, and they were like, "Well, we planned for 90 minutes. We might as well just do a FP2 for 90 minutes." In the rain, basically. Yeah, Science is doing a 121.9, but he's on a test tire, so we don't know. He's probably on a prototype soft tire. That's what we're looking at right here. So Jose in chat is bringing up drivers need to complete 25 laps on the new tire compounds Pirelli. That's one of the programs that Pirelli wants them to do. Another one that we know that they wanted them to do was to do basically 3 flying laps on the tire to see how and this is basically to see how they're going to hold up in a more like race condition. If they're going to if they push it hard. We don't know what the difference with the new tires are. That's the problem. Only Pirelli does. The teams don't know whether they've been given a soft or a medium or what type of compound.
Who's there?
Hello, you back, Feral?
Yeah, I hope so. Damn. There I am. Just not casting for you for like 2 or 3 weeks, and my whole equipment has just gone down the drain, basically. So let's see. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well. Hey, Feral, I can hear you well. Can you hear me now? Okay. So right now on the top of the board. Now again, these are test tires with Sainz, Gasly, Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez. They were all in FP1s. Yes, and we're working on trying to get Feral back into the stream properly. So as we keep going on, again, we're seeing 122s across the board. Again, they're told, the drivers have been told to push these tires. So yeah, that's pretty fast, pretty early on. Again, the ones who are not on those tires right now is Russell, Arcon, and Tsunoda.
Because as long as I do that, it should stay legal.
Definite shutdown. Yeah,
We can hear you now.
What? All right. You know what? I don't know if anyone is doing anything, but I will just, shut down that whole shit show here, restart, and then we'll be back in, I don't know, 10 minutes or something, probably. In the meantime, you're in good hands with Grash, and I am having practice on another screen where I can just watch it, so I don't have too much catching up to do while my absolute dinosaur of a computer does a reboot. So, yeah, hear it.
So the question is, how start position by lap time? It's by the fastest lap that they've done. So it's the order of what time they've put in, which is what basically what you would see like with like qualification and whatnot. Feral has stopped. He will probably come back in a little while. Yeah, I mean, like basically, like what happened with Feral is unfortunate. I was really looking forward to work with him, but hopefully he'll be back soon. Uh, Again, we're looking at right now. We've got on screen right now. It looks like they either have Hamilton or Russell. Tsunoda just set basically a fastest sector one. So again, we've got a lot of time because we've got an extra 30 minutes. So again, I'm Grash. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Twitch, I'm on YouTube. I'm just starting to stream, so you're gonna see, my I'm testing stuff out and trying stuff out and me going crazy in Night City because I like Cyberpunk. Um, so just about myself, I'm from the United States. I live up in New England, specifically Connecticut right now. So the best way to describe where I'm at, if you know where Boston is, you know where New York City is. About in the middle of the two, with leaning towards Boston right now. Not a New York trader. I grew up in the Boston area, so I'm New England Patriots and Red Sox, Celtics, Bruins. Those are the teams I grew up with. The other thing those are the American teams in the major leagues. So if you guys have questions in chat, please at me. I'm just gonna do. So just give me an at in chat, and I'll take your questions. Dr. Bernard was at MIT. That's Cambridge. That's the heart of Boston, pretty much. So one of the things that Farrell was trying to bring up was, again, and we were talking about the cost cap, and we have to break this down into two ways before we start talking about Red Bull specifically. When we deal with the cost cap, there's two ways to breach the cost cap. And the first one, the obvious one, is to overspend. But there is a paperwork recording portion of the cost cap that all the teams have to do, and this is so that they can oversee the cost cap. Basically, with that, those are procedural issues. So what we know, in May, Williams had a procedural breach, and basically one of the units under the owners of Williams who needed to report didn't report on time, and they rectified it, and they were fined. And I forget, I have to go back and look what it is, but they were fined some money. We know Aston Martin is in a procedural breach, so they haven't overspent, but they haven't done something right procedurally in terms of the paperwork. And we know that they've been fined $450,000 for that procedural breach. So this is Williams, Aston Martin. That's the first category. These are procedural breaks. We did something wrong paperwork wise. We're going to fix it, and we'll move on. And we'll move on. The issue with Red Bull is that not only do they have procedural breach, but they also have an overcost, and that overcost comes in, like, there was, like, I think what I read, there were 13 different categories where, when you take them all together, is where the overspend came from, and that came to about 2.2 or 2.6 million dollars, which is about 1.6%. That 1.6% is the important piece here, because that puts this procedural breach, the cost overrun breach, under 5%. So we're in a minor breach scenario. So Red Bull's not being thrown out, and things, the big whacking stick FIA penalties don't come into play, because we're not a major breach, we're a minor breach. And so there's a $7 million fine, and then a 10% reduction in development time, and that includes wind tunnel time. So that's where the teeth are going to coming into Red Bull for what happened with it. It's going to affect them, not necessarily next year, but it will be more evident in 2004, maybe 2005, where that time may affect development. Now, will it? It might close the gap with Ferrari and Mercedes. Now, granted, we're talking about a year where Red Bull has just been dominant. I mean, they've won 14 of the races this year so far. Sorry, 15. 13 from Max, 2 from Checo. So they're having a dominant year already. You would expect that dominance would roll into next year as well. So that's what to expect with the cost cap. And then we can see Russell was up again. Russell did a 120. So we're in the 121s already to Sonoda, Russell. Now again, these guys are on the regular tires. Now Verstappen is on a test tire, and he did a 121.8. My best get is that with that going that fast, Verstappen must likely be on like I believe like the C equivalent of prototype C4 C5 fast, soft tire. That's the only thing I can read into with him going that fast in comparison to Russell and Sonoda. Sainz, Gasly, Leclerc they're on prototype tires. Sainz on a 121, and then we're in the 122s with again Gasly, Leclerc, Perez, Ocon, and Hamilton. One of them just jumped right into that group as I was reading down. So that's where we're at right now, about 15 minutes into the session. Perez now jumping to the top of the list with a 121.5. You see that's 2/4 of a second faster than Russell. So so we can guess who's kind of on the soft tires. So again, the issue that we're seeing here is that Pirelli has given every single team tires, but haven't told what tire they've been given. And it could be that we've all been given the same compound. Everyone's given the same compound and to use. It could be some. Again, we know that at least 1 or 2 different test tires are being used. We don't know the compound and what. We know nothing, and that's intentional from Pirelli.
All right, so let me try this again. Grash, are you there? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You can hear me. Nice. I can. Well, my solution has been to just throw my computer out the window, and I am now broadcasting from my laptop.
So I'm an IT person. I can understand.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Can you please restart your machine? All right. So we've got several of you in chat already. We've got about almost 1,000 you in chat already. That's really awesome. Can you guys give us hey, what time is it for you guys, and where are you watching us from? I'm curious to see. I know we got one person from Bangladesh already. Again, I'm from New England and Connecticut. It is 5:18 p.m. where I'm at. I'm in Eastern Time Zone. Feral, where are you at?
I am still in Switzerland. Great country to be. Quite fun here, and it is close to midnight. Here it's like 11:20 p.m.
We've got people in Germany, again, 11:20 in Germany, 3:18 in Bangladesh, 4:18 at track time, we're with Jose. We've got Algeria, Germany, people from East Coast. Yes, dear Francis on the East Coast. I know Francis too well. I can pick on him. He's my little brother. Let me see. We got New Zealand, Egypt, Namibia, UK, and Kuwait, Arizona, Germany, Egypt, Montreal from Germany, little Jack is from UK, San Francisco from North Andover, Massachusetts. Another Boston person, Boston ex Boston person somewhere else. Australia, Barbados, Netherlands, New Zealand, Auckland specifically, Dubai. So I want to thank you guys. Ireland, 22219, UAE, Mexico, Poland, England, Croatia. Russell again. Russell in P1. Okay, Russell's in
Yeah,
P1 on a
Russell
soft
had
tire.
absolute send out this lap. That was
So we know that Russell is it's a purple across the board 1.19.9 time. Again, Russell's on the tires for this year and not next year's tires. So we'll see if like Perez or Verstappen try and push. Sonoda again 1.20.7. Again, these guys are on the current tires and not next year's tires. But it looks like next year's tires are doing pretty well against these. Is Perez, Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz? I mean, they're all looking like they're on this year's tires. Are they going to push and see if they can, overtake Russell Sonoda, just for the sake of for bragging rights? A few more coming in. You see, you got Ireland, Mexico, Poland, Croatia, Pakistan, South Africa, Germany, Netherlands, Hungary, Osaka, Japan, South Africa again, Munster, Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbeans, Wisconsin, another state in the United States. So California. So we're you guys are all over the world watching us, and we appreciate you coming to watch along the session with us.
yeah,
We got my
quite
Mama Mary in chat saying Max is, in my opinion, not the best driver. To all fans to say that he is the best driver. Mama, he's the best driver right now. In this moment right now, Max is the best driver. He's been dominant all season. Is he the best overall? I mean, that's a good question. I mean, you've got Alonso, you've got Vettel, you've got Hamilton, all in the mix in terms of talent. But in this moment, this very moment right now, looking in, we look outside of like the past 18 months. He's been the best driver. He's a double world champion. That's just the facts. It's just right now he's performing. He's been dominant, and particularly this year, he has been dominant. He will probably break the all-time wins for a driver in a season. But again, he doesn't chalk that much up because when he's asked that question, the first thing he turns around is that it doesn't matter. We're driving more races, so there's always that.
yeah. I mean, it's fair to say that he does absolutely have one of the best cars on the grid at the moment as well. But if you just only compare like Verstappen now, what he's doing to, I don't know, like let's say Hamilton in his dominant era a few years or a few seasons back. I would say Verstappen is doing better at the moment as Hamilton has ever been doing. Like it's what the stats tell us with like more wins, more poles, more like it's just in the statistics. He's just beating pretty much everybody else across the board. Like it is hard to compare. Like, is he better than, I don't know, let's say Clay Regazzoni from the 70s. That's a comparison we can't really do because, well, Regazzoni had like 10 races a season, so no real records to be set there. But it really is, yeah, at the moment, whether you like him or not, Max is absolutely the best driver we are having on the grid. Like there's just no arguing that.
Basically, one of the questions in chat is who has the fastest car if it's not Max. It comes into three people. It's either Checo, Leclerc, or
Yep.
Sainz.
Yes.
The next best is there. And when those guys are having bad days, it's I would actually say Russell's is the next fastest car. Though Hamilton has past few races, Hamilton has actually unlocked more of the potential of the car. So that's that after those three, it's Mercedes.
Probably, yeah. I mean, Ferrari is definitely faster than the Red Bull. No matter how you put it, Ferrari is faster. They are just getting basically screwed over with their strategy. They're getting screwed over at pit stops. They're getting screwed over by their own reliability. But if you basically solve those issues, Ferrari is better off. And yet we had what is it? Meanwhile, it's not 100% anymore, but fairly close to 100% of all pole positions of Leclerc have then lead to a win of Verstappen. So yeah, you don't just get a great car and then be like drive. You can't just train a monkey and set it in there. I mean, if I would get Verstappen's car, I would probably crash it before I even reach the first corner. So no matter how good the car, if you put a bad driver in it,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't think it's required. I mean, on paper, Ferrari I think had a better car, but didn't know how to effectively use it well. And it's a combination of there was reliability issues, there was issues with strategy, and then that I think effectively did get to the drivers every so often. Like there was a couple of clerk issues um, where basically he made a mistake.
yep.
After that, like you had Sainz getting knocked out of the race last week. Um, that's something you can't that's bad luck. Um, if there's not much you can, it is what it is, and unfortunately, in that case.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I personally don't really like Verstappen, but yeah, I just gotta be here. I can't deny that he is just the best driver we currently have out there. I think you could set him into a top midfield car and he would still get wins. It doesn't really help the fact that he is driving the Red Bull. That is just an absolute beast at the moment. But I don't think we will see that again next season because, well, we have the engine development locked, so you can't improve on your engine's performance. You can only improve, basically, can only improve on your engine's reliability. And Ferrari has way more power, so they now have a whole winter break of time to get the car more reliable. While Red Bull, that engine is reliable. There is no more work to be done there. So next season or latest the season last after that, Ferrari will be better than Red Bull, at least. Like, yeah. Or what do you think about that, Grash?
I think it's going to be more next year. Will probably be a little bit more competitive. Definitely going into 2020. I mean, like the penalty that Red Bull is going to take is not going to affect this year.
Yeah,
Basically, that's what it comes down to. It's not going to affect this year. This year has already been settled in the books. It will start to affect next year, and will affect um, the biggest thing that it will affect will be into 2024. And that's basically, that's what that penalty is going to do. It's going to affect the future, not going to affect right now.
probably. Yeah. Yeah, not right now. It just looks like we are getting into the next kind of era of dominance with Red Bull, which I don't want to happen. I'm fine with Max winning as long as it's a fight. As long as P1 and P2 are separated by, let's say, 2/10, I don't care who wins.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you mean. I mean, we are in essentially the Max Verstappen era. There's no two ways to say it. The question that we're dealing with right now is whether, you know, Red Bull was so dominant. Will they be able to continue that dominant into next year, or will, Mercedes find something, or will Ferrari find something? And it's very possible that they could. But that's something that is a question for next year.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a question for next year, and something we won't know until we start seeing the pre-test testing at Bahrain next year. So that's something I'm going to try to wrap up in a bow and put, that's the future.
Yeah, probably, but to be honest, I quite like those speculations just because people are coming out with things and thoughts that I haven't quite gotten to. Like Bob earlier was like, well, but if you get the engine more reliable, you can run it harder. That's a fair point, is that going to be a thing? Will Red Bull just get the engine more reliable and then run more aggressive mappings, basically?
I mean, we hope that'd be the goal, is to get a high reliability that you can push the car harder, faster, stronger. And again, whether it's Red Bull or Mercedes or Ferrari. I mean, Ferrari this year had some, not just their team, but the whole engine. We saw five. I think one race we saw 5 different Ferrari engines blow up. That's a big issue. So that's one of the things. Hopefully, if that improves, there's, again, if you watch F1, WFT1, they had a video around the summer break about just the points that Ferrari left on the board through mistakes or reliability
Yeah.
issues. So
Yeah, I have seen that. Am I having more technical gremlins here, or is
nope.
Magnussen now finally out on track?
I'm trying to see. He is on track.
All right, perfect. So
Yep.
finally, Magnussen has made it out as well. Perfect.
Yep. So in chat, basically, you are not seeing things. Russell, Tsunoda, Ocon are in the top 3. However, and this is the thing that you guys need to be aware about, they are not doing tire testing right now. They are all on the regular soft tires for this weekend. So
Yeah, the
yeah,
real tire, they know.
I know Albon is, I believe the other one. He is on
Albon is
a
out
soft.
on soft at the moment, but those are the 4. Everybody else is running a test tire, so whatever they do is not representative. Like, they could as well just put a no time next to that. Ooh, there is a Ferrari in the wall. Who is it? Looks like Leclerc. Yep, Leclerc is in the wall. We have a red flag.
Red flag.
Where did it go off? Looks like the turn 7, 8, like the S's into like just before sector 3. So do we get a replay of that? That would be great. Like,
He
he
did
is
hit.
out of the car looking healthy, but I don't know. His rear wheels are kind of lying on the hood of the car where they definitely don't belong. The rear wing is
The back wing is destroyed.
yeah.
He did hit the technical barrier, so it's gonna take
Yeah.
some time to repair that as well.
That is the same place where Verstappen has gone off in free practice 1. Just that he wasn't catching it, but he also was on the test tire there.
No, you're talking about Verstappen in FP1?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
he
no,
spun out.
Verstappen did not hit the wall.
No, he did not hit the wall, but he spun out in the same corner.
Yes,
That's yeah.
but he didn't hit the wall, which is the big difference. He did the wall, and there is, and in the replay, the last shot that they showed, that barrier has been intentionally bumped in. So there's going to be some time. Again, they have to take time to get people off the track, so they can put equipment onto the track. 2, they have to retrieve the car out of that scenario, and then 3, reset the Tech Pro barrier where it is because it's been pushed in. Good luck to Amazon for getting AWS in that spot because you're getting great advertising time right now.
Yeah, bad day to be a Ferrari mechanic, I tell you. Because the way that wheel broke off, that has definitely wrecked the big gearbox with it.
Again, look again for those who are just joining. This is the FP2. We're doing a tire test. Leclerc was on a test tire. He spun out and hit the wall, and it's putting us into a red flag scenario.
Yeah, so and it actually was quite the soft bump in the end. But I think with the whole weight and mass of the car pushing into that, now it would be interesting. I haven't found anything that I could just use as a reliable source for that. So maybe Chet has something, maybe Grash, you have something. But is there like just something, I don't know, like a spreadsheet or whatever, where you can just look who has used how many engine parts, how many gearboxes, how many whatevers throughout the season?
I know there are people who are tracking that, and I don't know where it is off the top of my head.
Yeah,
Which I
because
know.
now I see like how Leclerc crashed there. Okay, that's definitely a gearbox change, like no question about it. Now the next question, like I as a caster now would like to inform our viewers, like the amazing Bob who just told me that it's on Reddit. I will look for that later. But basically, I would now like to tell our people, will Leclerc take a grid penalty because of that? Because he needs a new gearbox now. But I have
Yeah.
no idea. You know that
He
that's
I can tell you he probably is. It's taking some sort of penalty for that because he's been taking penalties already.
yeah, probably, but wasn't it mainly engine penalties?
Yeah, I'm looking him up right now. Let's see. Um, Clerk, Trevor. He's Leclerc is across the board. He's he is probably taking a penalty regardless, um, because I know he's taken several already. It's likely he's going to take several more. I mean, he's across the board. Like he's used 2 energy stars. He's used 2 control limits, and the max is 2. Um, there we go. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And again, let's just go back over. There we go. 6 power units, 6 turbochargers, 5 MGU-H and Ks, 3 energy stores, 4 control electronics, and then 9 exhaust systems. Um, Pretty much every single one he's above. Um, oh wow, Leclerc going into the garage like he's like in the F1 video game when you crash out. Ooh.
Yeah.
One
Alright,
of the things that there's
so
talk that the F1 website is saying is the track is dusty, still dusty, um, which is interesting to hear.
So what I have found so far is decision documents of the FIA.
And what specifically with its what is the FBI FBI what is the FIA saying? What were the decisions they had to make?
Well, basically throughout this is just the notes like driver briefings, event notes, race director notes, the car display procedure, just all of those PDFs basically of the FIA, like who has shown their car, was it okay, what time was it checked, what were the data, like weight and everything. So, and what's the next appointments they need to attend to show the cars. Like just randomly opened one here. We just know that Mercedes has presented their car from 11:30 a.m. to 11:36 a.m. Today before free practice 1, and that they will have to do the post qualifying presentation either at 9:05, 9:20, or 9:35. So yeah, it's just those forms that I'm finding. What do we have? Ooh, there we go. Power unit elements used by drivers.
So
Nope.
there is a
Here,
great bot on Twitter called it's literally called the FIA Documents Bot.
yeah.
And this is I've linked it in chat for everyone. But basically, it's basically when the FIA posts a new document, basically it's posting that and link to the FPF PDF. Excuse me. So again, it just posted 2 minutes ago new power units for this event. So far.
Yeah, looks
So
like
so far, Kevin Magnussen is the only one. Again, that's obvious because Fittipaldi was in his car in FP1 and it blew, so he needs to take a new FP engine. He is so he's we know Kevin Magnussen's going to have a engine penalty already.
all right, yeah, there we go. Charles Leclerc has used 5 gearboxes and other drivetrain parts so far. So no matter if they have a practice gearbox in there or not, this is over the limit, right? It's 3 gearboxes a season.
Yep.
Well, then they are over it, and according to the data here, he will take a penalty. Because no matter what gearbox they have in there, it is over the limit, and they need to replace it now, so that's it. That is a great page. Fairly boring. I don't know if people in chat care, but I posted the link into the chat where you can see every FIA document issued for every Grand Prix. Very nice.
So Feral, there's a question for you about what you thought about the delayed penalty of Alonso. So just to bring everyone up to speed, so after the American Grand Prix, Haas went to the stewards and protested that Alonso should have been given a penalty because his car was not in. There was a mechanical issue with his car. As we saw,
Yeah, he lost his rear view mirror like 3 laps before the end. I have seen that. It's basically what was it? He wanted to overtake Stroll, kinda tried a little bit aggressively. Stroll defended. Alonso didn't pump the brakes soon enough. Basically just lifted up his car over Stroll's back wheel. Stroll was out afterwards. Alonso continued painfully slow with a car that was basically falling apart. Now, in my opinion, he should have seen a black and orange flag and he should have gone to the pits and repaired that mirror, because we have seen black and orange flags for less. Honestly, like I don't want to get into if the penalty in the end, like that he was dropped down by I don't know how many seconds, that was then reverted again and reinstated his original position, and that was all very complicated. I don't know. I'm not the guy making those decisions. I'm not the guy wanting to make those decisions. But just the aftermath of no, his car was not in driving shape. Like he lost essential parts. You know, the rear view mirror is classified as an essential part. You need to have this on your car, and the moment it falls off, your car is not safe to drive anymore. Technically, like he still made it to the finish line without an accident, but technically, missing rear view mirror needs to be repaired. Needs to be. Like we have seen black and orange flags for a little bit of a flappy front wing or something. Like, ooh, there might something be falling off. So if you have a whole rear view mirror assembly, like he could have repaired it. I don't know, stick some duct tape on it. It's anything,
Yeah.
like just do something, but you shouldn't have allowed him to continue driving like this.
So the issue is that yes, the car was not in, that the car should have been repaired.
Yes.
Problem is that the flag, it was not the mechanical flag was not flown during the race. And this is why it was reversed, because it came after the race. One of the teams protested.
Yeah. That's okay to protest. Basically, if I'm driving and I'm not shown a blue flag and I'm just slower than anyone because I'm not a professional driver, I'm not shown a red flag, blue flag, so I'm not letting the car behind me pass. You know, and then I can't get penalized for ignoring red flags because there was no red flag to ignore, no blue flag. Goddamn, I'm sorry, it's late here. There was no blue flag to ignore in the beginning. So yes, fair point to Alonso. He did not ignore any flags or repairs or whatever. Nobody told him that this is not okay, so he continues driving. That is his job, that's what he's doing, and that is the absolute right decision. That is just another, I don't know, kind of just a very small pooch screwed by the very big fire extinguisher by the FIA, making a big mess over everything. So yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Mistake by the FIA. Alonso did nothing wrong. You know, it's not fair to the other teams, but being fair is not Alonso's job. That's the FIA's job, and they didn't do it. That's no. And that's a fact.
Now, Paul Maxley in chat says they ran out of time, being Haas. Ran out of time, though, to protest it, and that's why Alonso got a 7th place back. Yeah, I mean, that's a way to look at it. I mean, Alonso should not have gotten the penalty after the race. the bottom line. But he should have gotten the penalty during the race. That's the issue here that needs to be addressed at some point. Again, we're still in a red flag scenario. They have retrieved Leclerc's car, and it's got the nice, Ferrari wrap over it. The issue that we're dealing with right now is that the technical barrier that is intended to absorb the hit, well, that's out of place now because that's damage to DeVries' car somehow. They're showing on
to whose car?
DeVries. Well, it was a Mercedes. Something went wrong and damage happened.
With DeVries?
It was a replay from FP1 on
Okay.
the yeah. So my apologies. It was a replay from FP1 showing DeVries' car getting some damage in the garage.
Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah, okay, I'm back in the loop. I'm sorry. Just as Jose said that I can do no wrong. I just completely missed the live broadcast because I am absolutely diving down into that rabbit hole of FIA documents right now. So I'm gonna close those tabs.
Again,
Not using those anymore. I'm back.
So bring us back to where we are right now. About 10 minutes ago, Leclerc lost the back of his car, turned and went into a techpo barrier and took out the back of his car. They've recovered his car, and it's back by the pits on a car. But the issue right now is that we need to wait for the techpo barrier to basically to be in place. And actually, it's now in place. We're going to restart in about 55 seconds now.
Yes. So we're not having green light yet. Verstappen is standing at the very front on the pit exit. Having Kevin Magnussen behind him. I mean, Magnussen, yes, he definitely needs to put in time here.
Yeah.
A lot of time. But it looks like Verstappen is still on an unbranded tire.
Yeah, he's going to be on a test tire for the whole session. Top three right now is Russell, Tsunoda, Ocon, and the reason they're on those three are there is because they're on the tires that are the race tires from this year. And so they've all used softs basically. Russell with a 119.97, Tsunoda with a 120.79, and then Ocon with a 121.17. Hamilton on a test tires did a 1.1.5. Perez 1.1.57 and Verstappen 1.58. Leclerc, Sainz, Bottas, the next three that are in the 121s. And again, Gasly, Vettel, Gasly, and Verstappen are the first three out. Magnussen is in that group. I think Perez is in that group as well. Sainz and Russell, Hamilton, Bottas, Zhou. I think they're all going on onto the track.
Yeah, all right. Ooh, green smoke flares. Fitting for Mexico. Like who are the green smoke flares for? Since we're in Mexico, I assume it's Checo.
I guess so. The hooligans have brought green flares now. I mean, orange is obvious, red is obvious, green. Is it Aston?
Maybe,
I mean, maybe it's the Aston Martin fans of Mexico. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe it's the fans of the green light. You know, they don't give a single flying I don't know fart about the racers. They're just there to see the green lights.
Yeah. Zhao is in the second Alfa Romeo. I know the timing sheet is showing Lawson starting good rides. That's not correct. It is Zhao, Magnussen, and Stroll. I think.
Yeah, but it's that's kind of extreme there with Magnussen, Stroll, Tsunoda, Guan Yu Zhou, Latifi, like basically everyone who is at the very back of the field, like they are back there by huge margins, more than I am kind of used to see from other free practices. What do you think? Why that happened?
A different compound. There has to be a second compound that they're using, either a
Okay,
medium or
so
a hard, as opposed to, again, I mean, it's obvious that like Hamilton, Perez, Stappen, Claire, but they're all on some softer compound. These guys are
yeah,
probably all
they
on.
may like basically Russell, Tsunoda, and Ocon put in their lap times on soft tires. So did Albon, by the way. All the others have only driven the test tires so far.
Yeah, no. Everyone who's on a test tire. I mean, it's obvious. Starting, who's. I mean, there's the top. So we look from Hamilton through. So we're looking through P4 through P9.
Yeah.
These are all the usual suspects for who's fast in general, and it's obvious that they're on a softer tire. When we look down, we see McLaren down below. We see Aston Martin all over the place. We see now we're filtering to the midfield and back markers, but the times that they're putting in are significantly slower, and it looks like they're on a different compound.
Yeah, it's especially about the significantly slower part there. I mean, I'm not very surprised to see Latifi back there or Schumacher back there or maybe even Stroll back there. But like in this combination with those gaps, it's just I mean, everyone is on a test tire.
Except for Russell, Tsunoda, Ocon at this point, and Albon.
Yeah. So, yeah, but generally we are about 1 hour in, so tire testing should be done now.
No, we're I think they're going to go the whole 90 minutes with the tire testing.
That would be unfortunate for
Yeah.
whoever is the data specialist with the team.
It's unfortunate that they're doing, the data specialists are going to would say that's unfortunate that we have to do this type of tire testing in FP2 anyways. Probably be the response. But
Yeah, in any FP, but I think if you would basically just be there, be like, yeah, we do this tire testing, you go for 45 minutes with whatever plan we tell you to, and then you get 45 minutes of free practice. That's fine. Ooh, we just got some breaking news in the chat. Jose just ordered a pizza. Important to know. That's yeah, damn. Now I want pizza too. But it's the end of the month and I'm broke, so I'm staying with ramen noodles. At least until tomorrow. Then
I have no clue what I'm going to make for dinner tonight. So we were just
um
getting our first laps after the restart. Um, Not really much to say at the moment. Nothing has happened yet. Everyone is pretty much on track and off to the races, just to say.
yeah, it's Perez had quite the aggressive wheel spin there through the corner. This is just what I love about the Mexican Grand Prix. Like from this whole engineering perspective is just how incredibly high above sea level it is, and that there's basically compared to other tracks, there's basically nowhere there. So they just get in there with like huge loads on the turbo and intense cooling packages, and basically just get all the downforce out of it they can. Love this. I think we should get more Formula One circuits like really high up somewhere in the mountains. Just for the additional challenges it brings.
So Gunther Steiner's on F on Sky right now, Sky broadcast, and he's basically throwing his hands up when he's been asked about uh, basically the issues with the meatball flag being thrown on him 3 times and not on anyone else, and he's like, he's just basically throwing his hands up, like, what the hell is going on? Pikes
Yeah,
Peak,
that's
Colorado would be a good place in that regards. Um, I would think how I don't know how high the Kumiami, the South African track. I don't know how high that is. Um, yeah, I mean, like if we were to put another race in the United States, Colorado is a possibility. But I don't know of any tracks like used by an IndyCar or NASCAR that are in that area is the problem. So that makes Mexico City very unique in its elevation.
yeah. Fair point there. Off. Damn it! I lost the message in chat. Who was it?
They were talking. Bob it was asking about F1 Pikes Peak.
Yeah, F1 Pikes Peak would be great. Just, drive the car up there, and then from there on, the race continues with the DHL trucks. How fast can your team load the car, get it secured into the truck? How fast can you drive the truck down Pikes Peak? And then you do this like 50 times.
Yeah, again, someone saying Sonoda, whoa, yeah, he is in P2. Again, the time set by Russell, Sonoda, and Ocon were all done on the standard tire. They've all now switched over to, well, okay. They've all, so on, I believe they've all switched over to the testing tire. I can't confirm that because it says on the F1 website where I'm looking at the leaderboard, it says they're on the testing tire. When I look over on the F1 stream from ESPN, they're all still in the soft tires, but they're all in the pits right now at the moment. So take it as it is. Right, they're not on track, but take it as what it is.
Yeah, so, the other thing I wanted to get into before we decided that the FIA definitely needs to do a F1 Pikes Peak race. Someone in chat, I unfortunately lost the message, but was saying that the South African track. No, was that you? The South African track is very
I
high
I
up as well.
I was asking if that track was high up enough.
Yeah, it is. 1,500 meters or 4,900 feet above sea level.
Okay, so a
So yeah,
kilometer and a
one
half up.
more.
That is significantly up.
Yeah,
Um,
one more reason to get Kyalami in there. It's just because I still think it is kind of, I don't know, it's just weird and kind of inappropriate to call yourself a world championship if you don't race on all over the world. So yeah, Africa, somewhere in Africa, there's an F1 track, and that needs to get an F1 race. If you haven't visited every continent at least once, you can't call it a world championship. Also, I think, we should develop snow tires for F1 cars, have at least one race in Antarctica. Just, it's as much about the engineering as it is about the drivers. So I think you should be able to get an F1 car, drive it in the Arctic.
I think Red Bull that has done a few times ice stuff on the ice with their F1 car or a version of the F1 car. So
Yeah, I've seen that where they had like an F1 sponsored pro ski driver, like basically driving a hill down, and then I think it was Verstappen basically who had to drive the exact same course but uphill. So yeah, no, that's like generally not like okay, yeah, it does sound like advertisement, but it is amazing. Have a look at all the ad campaigns Red Bull has done with their Formula One team, like the zero gravity pit stop, and all things like that. Like that's fucking amazing stuff. That's just great to see. And Bob, yeah, they can't get full wet rights, let alone snow tires. What? No, that's the thing right there. You know, if you're in the Antarctica, you have to drive the snow tire. I bet you that at least 5 drivers go out on intermediates on the first chance they get. But you know, like I don't know, spiked snow tires on a Formula One car racing in the Antarctica. That's yeah, calling it. That would be the best race of the season.
We're getting a replay of Alonso coming around one of the curves, and he's got a bit of drift on the curve. Bit of drift hits bit of the curving as well. Not losing some time as he goes around there. No, it's not raining right now. It is it's overcast, but it's not raining.
Yeah. Okay. So just to put that out there, as that seemed to have sparked some confusion in chat. Yes, I am being sarcastic. I am aware that a Formula One race in Antarctica is not going to happen within the next, I don't know, 50 years or something. So yes, I am joking about that. I'm not serious. It's okay, but I am absolutely not joking about a race somewhere on the African continent. That has to happen now. That's just to put that out there. But to answer your question, how would fans get there? I don't know. Bus?
So, again, about the tires right now, it looks like the whole session will be used by the test tires by those who are supposed to be using it. Again, Russell, Sonoda, Ocon are the exception. They're allowed to use other tires because they were not in FP1. So this is them getting in their practice time essentially.
Yeah. Grash, you are the better YouTube mod than I am. Can you have a check on Mark63's message? Streamlabs has basically blocked that out, and I have
Yeah.
no idea why.
So Mark, so everyone in chat, make sure when you use a period, make sure you use a space after your period. So if you write a sentence, you put a period in, use a space, please, because what's going on is that what the bot is seeing
It's going to be
two words.
flagged as a link. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's seeing the the word, the period, and another word, and it's reading it as a URL. It's thinking it's some sort of link to somewhere, and that's why it's blocking those things. But what Mark had said in chat was he had went to Watson Glens for an F1 race in the 70s, and it was incredible. It was just a little kid, but we'll never forget it. And that is awesome that you were able to go to the Watson Glens F1 race. And I will repost that for you, Mark.
Yeah, now because I see that sometimes things get blocked out by Streamlabs, and that is fine. But I just thought that was quite a heartwarming message. Like it kind of made me smile, made me happy. So yeah,
That
wanted
brings
to
up a
get
good
that out there to you.
that brings up a good question for chat. If you've been to an F1 race or any races in general, put in chat where you went and what you saw. I would be curious to see where you've all been.
Yeah, I mean, Ogvald also has a great idea there, with like just a cannonball run with F1 cars from
Do
Paris
you
to Dakar.
do you know what a cannonball run is?
Isn't this like the one time you go, no repairs, and drive through?
No. A cannonball run is basically you pick a point, you pick another point. The classic cannonball run is New York to Los Angeles, and it's just
Yeah, and then you
how
just go.
fast. The question is how fast can you get there? The issue is that with the cannonball run is that it turns very illegal very quickly. So the the record holder for the cannonball run in New York, LA, did it like last year during the pandemic when people on the road and averaged 125 miles per hour. That is all,
Oof.
2.5 times the usual legal limit of 55 miles per hour. So they were going. If that was their average, they were going much faster,
Yeah.
which means they were blowing through areas at speed. Um,
Yeah, so I got the right thing in mind, yes. I thought about the right thing with a cannonball run. Basically, you just go and you get a point and you get a goal and you get there and yeah, and you just go. Also, Oscar Kier was at Spa last year. Can we get an F in chat for Oscar Kier there? Yeah,
Murrow says
big
that
F
a
for
couple.
that.
He said he was at the US 500 back in the late 90s. So Andretti, Xandar, Vassar, Moore, Dario Moore, some NASCAR races too, several IndyCar races at the Iowa Speedway.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just something I miss around Europe, or rather around Switzerland specifically. Switzerland has pretty much banned all motor racing. Like if it's not a historical thing with old timers, there's no racing here. And that is so sad because we had some great tracks. We don't have them anymore, but we've had them. So I have never really been to a race in my free time. Like I have been to some races because it was part of my job, but when you're in the pits and working on cars, you don't really get to see too much of the race itself.
Sky is showing a replay of turn 9 with so they've shown Hamilton, they've shown Russell, they've shown George. The cars are oscillating just a little bit, and the bottom, the floor plate on each of the car has scraped the ground through that section of the track. So
Yeah, no, that's I mean, I don't know. Take your bets. If anyone's listening who has the power to do so, let's make a poll and chat. What do you think? Will Mercedes return with their side pod delete design in 2023? Yes or no? I think that would be a nice poll. But also, like 70% think that Alpine will take the Constructors' Championship over McLaren. I mean, fair, kind of.
it's close. Let me look up the standings. So right now we're looking at a difference of 11 points between Alpine and McLaren. Alpine is 149 and McLaren is 138. Red Bull obviously has won the constructors. They are at 657, and then
Yeah,
second and third is Ferrari, Mercedes at 469 and 416 for Mercedes. Um,
Well,
yeah,
it's hard to say. I personally think Alpine could take it. Like if I had to place money on it, I would place it on Alpine. But on the other hand, I think McLaren has the better car, but they have the handicap of Ricciardo.
Ricardo's a handicap. Yeah, it's just weird.
If Ricciardo performed at the level of Norris throughout the season in that McLaren, It would be no question. Like
Yeah.
Alpine would not have a hint of a chance. So yeah, I think Alpine is going to get it. I think they will win it towards the end of the season. It's a close call, but it's my call. But
Alpine
yeah,
should win it. Alpine won't win it if they have
yeah,
another race. See, the thing is, Alpine. The reason why McLaren jumped ahead before Austin is because Alpine had a double DNF, and McLaren had a great race. And if that happens again, that's going to put a lot of pressure on Alpine. I mean, Alpine should be fourth, but if they have another DNF, I can see them slipping to fifth again.
maybe, but that is about DNFs, and I can't really recall any real reliability issues with either one of the cars.
Oh no, Alpine's had issues all season long. I mean, it's not as major, but they've had issues throughout the season.
Yeah, sure, they had issues, but every team had issues. But it's not like, I don't know, a Ferrari where I can remember I felt 30 races this season alone where Sainz's engine blew up, where Leclerc has lost it, and so on. Like it's okay, they're having some issues, maybe they lose a rear view mirror or something. So yeah.
I don't have the data in front of me, but I feel like Alpine had the second most reliability issues after Ferrari, just in terms of the team alone. So we're not talking about the other Ferrari teams. We're just talking Ferrari
All right,
itself.
yeah. You know what? Let's stop speculating. I am diving straight back
It-
into let's say gearboxes. McLaren has used 4, Alpine has used 4 as well, so there they are pretty much on the same page. Then engines. McLaren has used 3 engines, turbochargers, MGU-H and Ks in Ricciardo's car, 4 in Lando Norris's car with only 3 MGU-Ks, while Alpine has used 6 internal combustion engines for both of their drivers, 5 turbochargers for Alonso, 4 for Ocon, 5 MGU-Hs for Alonso, 4 for Ocon, and both had 4 MGU-Ks.
Here
They
I've got a better data point actually. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at the race results, and Ocon has been retired twice this season, and Alonso has been retired 4 times. Sainz has 5, and Leclerc has 3.
Okay, yeah.
I know that Max has been retired once, and Sergio retired twice. So they're up there. I mean, definitely with Alonso with 4 retirements, they're up there. If I look at Lando, he's only retired once. If I look at Daniel, he's only retired twice. So there's
All
yeah. I mean,
right,
like,
yeah. Okay,
so the question is, like, for me, the question of Alpine versus McLaren is really into these last 3 races. If there's a couple more retirements, that's going to give the opening to McLaren to take 4th place. I just, and that's why we watch the races.
yeah. Okay, yeah, no, fair point. All right, Alpine could lose it due to reliability. Yes. I don't know. I don't really follow Alpine. I don't know how this is about you, but for me, Alpine is like the team that is just there, kind of.
It does feel that way.
It's like if they are good, I'm not surprised because it's Alpine, but if they're bad, I'm not surprised either because it's Alpine. you know. But yeah, okay, fair point. They had more retirements than McLaren, so that might threaten them. On the other hand, it is a case of Lando Norris versus Alpine. So yeah,
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. I mean, we get a rare Ricardo back in the. That's the other thing. If Ricardo is showing in the top 10 again with Norris, um, those are the things that will give McLaren the 4th place over Alpine. again, we won't know until we start seeing the races. It's close. I mean, 11 points is close.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that is yeah, basically still undecided. So yeah. Really fair point with it is close, but
In these scenarios, I feel like I don't have a stake in either side here. So for me, it's just a matter of sit back with a bunch of popcorn and enjoy the show. I mean, it's going to be fun watching them fight.
yeah.
Yeah, Jose, Leclerc's car paddock is closed shut because they are fixing his car, and for that reason, the paddock is closed.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean that's just they're pulling the car apart. Um, they're pulling the car apart so they can put it back together, and for that reason, no cameras allowed. And we're hitting now the 10 minutes to go in this session. We've been a long session. So
yes.
Alcon's talking about a strange sound on the partial throttle. He's asking the engineers if it's okay, and so far the engineers are saying they're going to look at it, but like it sounds like their data on their end is all okay.
So far, that's good to hear. So yeah, but yeah, just talking about Alpine reliability, didn't Ocon have an issue today already previously?
Um, yes, earlier in FP1, I forget which I think it was Jake Sargent. No, that wasn't Jake.
Jack Dunham?
Jack
Dunham?
Dunham. So one of the rookies who was driving Ocon's car, the car was pulled in because they were having a power unit anomaly. Like the data was given anomalous results, and so they pulled the
Okay.
car
Okay.
in
Yeah.
to be checked. But like again, he's out now and he's fine. So I can't really tell you what more about what happened there. They pulled the car in, checked it up, and that's all that was said.
Yeah. Bob Duan, thank you. Jack Duan. There we go. Man, yo, my system is like super weird today. I mean, I'm looking on basically 4 computers simultaneously, and I
Really,
muted them all,
not really
but like,
sure. Sky is showing a replay of something just happened, and Lando just cut a corner wholesale, very oddly. He then
yeah.
went into the pits, but it was really, really odd. He turned and cut a corner just before the pits. No,
Mm,
Stuart. Max car is not running a regular tire right now. That's why he's running in one of the test tires. Russell, Sonoda, Ocon, those times that you see for them were set over an hour ago when they were on regular soft tires. So the times you are seeing right now are not representative of anything. Because after the top 3, everyone below them is pretty much running a test tire except for Albon, and at some point K-Mag had run a soft tire. So
yeah, well, but basically the tires you see in the graphic on the main feed is basically just that tire with which they have set their fastest lap. So yeah, currently it's just everyone who is out on a test tire. So I don't think we will see anything from there. So yeah.
yeah, so I think one of the big things that was announced yesterday is that Alfa Romeo. Well, actually, it's going to be Sauber is being basically bought primarily by the Audi Sport F1 team. So next year, Alfa Romeo is probably. So I believe either this year or next year is the last year for the cooperation between Sauber and Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo is going to be gone. Sauber is going to be on the grid, and then 2026, Sauber will become the Audi F1. So there's a couple steps and jumps and hoops we're going to go through, but essentially that we know now Audi not is just a power unit manufacturer, but they are going to be their primary team is going to be the Sauber team. They're the one they're going to control and own that team, which is interesting because about this time last year, the Andretti's were looking at buying Sauber, and it literally came down to the fact of like one of the big pieces was control. And Andretti weren't gonna buy if they couldn't put their drivers in. And what that meant was that they were gonna push and make big stink to get Herta in. I know that he didn't get in next year because of the super license issue, but they would have gone to the bat for him to put him into an F1 car. Zhao is not on the timing sheet because he's mislabeled at the moment. He is in 20th. So the Nick DeVries, he's done 3.399 slower, but he's in 20th right now, and I know that the timing sheet's wrong.
Yeah, I think today is just a stream of tech issues. At least my mic's working now. That's kind of.
Yeah, we had internet and tech issues with you earlier on. Ferrari with Leclerc losing the back end.
Yeah. Me just randomly broadcasting the whole audio line of. Ooh, that was. No, that is interesting. Did you see how they just tried to dismount Perez's wheel and just had a fountain of sparks coming from the wheel gun? Just putting it out there. I think they will just replace the wheel gun by now, but yeah, if we see bad pit stops of Red Bull, we know why.
Zhao is in 20th, not 25th. Latifi is 19th. Magnussen is 18th. He's now on an outlap. They're showing Sonoda right now on the stream. He is on a test tire. He did 320 through 199 miles per hour through the speed trap.
Yes. So
he's
Joe is
done.
having an issue in sector 3. He is standing between turn 14 and 15 there.
Oh boy.
Inside the stadium. That's
not good.
Yeah. Well, at least the cars are going slow through there, and there's no barriers obscuring your sight. And it looks like he has made it past the main part, so the other drivers will see him. He is neatly put side of the track.
This is gonna ruin Zhao's Sonoda's lap, but he is
It is red flagged again,
Yep.
so we won't see this session to the end.
No, red flag.
Yeah, let's see if we get a statement out or something.
No, this is it was only less than two minutes left.
There we go.
Red flag.
What do we have? So driving.
Yeah, the session will not be resumed. So yeah, the session will not be resumed after this red flag. Again, there was only like 2 minutes left. Just the amount of time just to get the car off the track would have taken 2 minutes. So
Yeah, that's basically it. Doesn't look like he binned it or anything. It's just a power unit issue, which is kind of the Ferrari way to do things, I feel like.
Yeah.
Let me have a look there. Joke 1U is already on his 5th internal combustion engine, so um, if he's
Uh,
lucky, it's just a hydraulics issue and can be repaired. If not, that is another grid penalty.
yeah. Paul in chat is saying it's a hydraulic failure.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of those boring testing sessions. I hope we don't get too much of them. I think we should get just like free free practice sessions if we do testing. Then you just have one session dedicated to testing for those who care, and get like some real free practice in 3 times as usual.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know what to tell you. I mean, it is what it is in terms of this testing session. Again, um, when I found out this was a tire testing, I'm kind of glad that you were here with me at some point
Yeah.
because this was a long session.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and I definitely was up for making some entertainment throughout the first 30 minutes with all of my tech issues, and from then on, we basically always had another tech issue on track to talk about. So
uh, so again, FP2 has ended. It ended under a red flag because someone didn't bin it, but it ended under a red flag session again today. Um, we had we had Leclerc binning it in the middle of the session, giving us a red flag in the middle, and a time to like just talk to you guys, basically. We have Russell, Sonoda, and Ocon at the top of the board. That's because they weren't in FP1, and so they were able to use the regular tires, so they look faster than they do. We've got Hamilton,
yeah,
Perez, Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Bottas riding out the next 6. They're all in the 121s. Yeah, like looks like they had a faster compound tire. Um,
yeah,
Down at the bottom, we've got Schumacher, Magnussen, Latifi, Zhao.
yeah. It's really not representative of anything there. It's just yeah, okay, cool. You got basically it's okay. Russell, Tsunoda, and Ocon were faster than the rest of the team or the rest of the drivers in a tire they know. So yeah, I mean it's nice to see Tsunoda up there. It's nice to see Ocon up there, but it's yeah, it's just cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, the underdogs at the top are not there because they've done something special. It's because they weren't in FP1 and they were able to use the regular tires. Bottom line. So like, cool that they're at the top. Enjoy watching them at the top, but after that, I mean the big one is Albon at 13 on a soft tire. Yes,
Yeah.
Griff. Earlier in the middle of the session, Leclerc crashed, binned it, got turned around. Um, if you saw the spin that Verstappen did in FP1, it's something like that, but he actually hit the wall, took out the back of the car. So he is definitely in place to take engine penalties because they have to repair it. From FP1,
Not
we
not
know that.
necessarily engine penalty. It is going to be a gearbox penalty. I mean, that
Yeah,
is basically the 5th gearbox he wrecked this season, like the 5th of the allocated ones.
I'm just throwing it all into engine right now. From FP1, we know that um, Magnussen is going to take an engine penalty because the power unit. So Fittipaldi in FP1 was driving his car, and the power unit gave out. So that is going to be replaced. And that we know already. That's confirmed with the FIA, and Magnussen will have an engine penalty. So we know 2 so far who are going to have engine penalties, some sort of part penalty going into the race. We will probably have more information when we go into FP3 and qualification tomorrow on confirmation.
Yeah,
Who else?
probably it will be a clear document or a clear communication into qualifying as per usual, as I know or as I have seen lots of times throughout the season. It's basically going to be all set in qualifying then, but I don't know. It's questions I wonder about, so I want to know if that is a penalty before the FIA tells me.
Let me see. I'm trying to think anything else that have from FP1 that had consequences. Not much. Those are the only big things. Again, we had a Pirelli tire test, except Russell and Ocon were on softs, and that's pretty much it. Um, yeah. Do you have anything before we take off, Feral?
Um, well, not really. I do hope that the whole channel here doesn't get into any copyright claiming issues because of my microphone issues. Um, so yeah, I hope that was kind of bearable because it was very weird and really only solvable by switching computers, and my main computer kept having the issue because it is all muted now. My headset is switched over to the laptop, and yeah. I still had audio, so I basically was just always having my hand on the speaker of my computer, so I don't, cast any more of things that are copyright protected, and we can't. So I really hope that this isn't going to be problematic. And if so, I am very sorry. Chandler Racing Statistics 2 coming up soon, I guess. But yeah, basically, go hit the like button. Remember to subscribe to the channel, as we're basically here for every season, for every session of the season. So far without failure, and meanwhile quite the big commentary team. So if you didn't like us, give us another try. Tomorrow will be someone else.
And again, I'm Grash. Again, I'm again from the United States. It's my I've been a mod here in the channel for several months now. Yeah, I want to thank you all. If you guys want to catch me on Twitter, it's at Grashriza, Twitch, again, Grashriza, YouTube, Grashriza. Pretty straightforward to how to find me. Um, Coming up tomorrow, Saturday. Basically, it is so practice 3 is going to be noon local time, track time. That's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern time. You can convert that. If you go to the F1 website, they have a great tool at the bottom that will show you the times in your local time zone. Qualifying will be 2 p.m. on Saturday, local track time. Again, that's going to be 3 p.m. Eastern time for me. And then the race is going to be I'm sorry, I'm doing the math wrong here. It's going to be 4 p.m. for qualifying, and then a 4 p.m. race time for me. So that's a 3 p.m. qualifying and race tomorrow. That's local to Mexico City. Again, you guys, if you go to the F1 website, they've got, scroll down to the bottom. They will have a great tool that will convert the start times for practice, qualifying, and race to your local time. So, all right. With that said, I want to thank everyone who's watched, and this was a bit of a gruel, but we got through it. And if I'm not on commentary tomorrow, I'll see you in the chat box. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Yep, bye. Yeah, Jose, see you tomorrow, my love. Oh, wait, you're talking to Paula. Sorry.